here on After Dark. I'm Nick Pegg, and joining me on the line is Mark Peters. He's the independent candidate for Hornby, for the Community Board and for City Council. Good evening to you, Mark.
Good evening, Nick. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thanks for staying up so late to talk to us and being our last guest this evening. You've sent us over some images that are going to support your campaign. It's very obvious to me you've been very busy in the community already.
Oh, yes, very much so. I've been a very active community advocate for Hornby for the last few years.
Have you served on the board before, or is this the first stab at it?
This is the first stab at it. I've been presenting to the board a number of times through the last few years, and certainly been actively representing our wonderful Hornby community.
That's interesting. So as a private citizen who wasn't an elected member of a board or a council, how did you feel that you were received? Because you've been in front of the board many times. Did they take you seriously? How did you feel you were treated?
I think as time passed, they took me more seriously. Certainly at the start, I think I was just another presenter to the board and wasn't really listened to all that carefully, and tended to be fobbed off accordingly. But I think as our campaigning in Hornby the last year or so with the Denton Park campaign carried on, more and more we got listened to every step of the way.
Now, tell me about Denton Park. I tried to rollerblade it round it once and nearly killed myself. Because it's just too bloody
That would be an interesting experience.
But no, tell us about Denton Park and your involvement in saving that.
Yep. Well, Denton Park was it's a jewel in the heart of Hornby. It's the velodrome which you'll be referring to. It's the last remaining 1974 Games venue, and is treasured by our community. And the piece that the council were trying to look at using for a library and community facility last year or so was outside of that on the green space with a couple of rugby pitches and also a couple of cricket pitches. And with that proposal, the community came together and said, no, we don't want to lose our playing grounds. Let's leave that alone and please put this facility somewhere else where it needs to be.
So where did they put it?
Well, they've just, in recent times, decided to move on to Kyle Park, which was one of the three parks that was proposed during their consultation that they did for the Denton Park proposal. And the community actually said that that was where they wanted it. The community board, in their wisdom, decided not to take that on board and decided that Denton Park was where they wanted it. And that's where our really vigorous campaigning began, and to the point where we finally managed to convince them to move on.
Right, you've got to bet each way with Community Board and the Council, obviously, because you're on both tickets there. I'm just wondering, what do you do, Mark, by way of business or employment?
By trade, I'm a land surveyor, so I tend to be a very visionary sort of person. I can often see things before they happen and see where the community can develop and move. So surveying is a pivotal profession to actually found our society. So I'm proud to be a part of it.
Well, actually it is. It's a very big picture sort of role, isn't it? And you're up there at the sharp end of new development and examination of things all the time.
Absolutely. And we're very much about breaking new ground and putting plans in place before towns arrive and before anything's even imagined to be in a location. The surveyors are often the first ones to break the ground and get it on the go.
So, should you be elected, will you be able to put that work to one side?
Absolutely. I have been working for the last number of years in a company that provides solutions to surveyors and engineers, and certainly it'll be a case of working around and maybe having to park that for a while to get in and serve my community and do everything I can for my community.
What are you hoping? What are your aspirations for the ward? What kind? I mean, we know that you've already been a strong advocate for the sporting side of things, but looking forward, what are the things that you want to achieve for Hornby?
Well, really for Hornby, it's about trying to ensure that Hornby is well represented and to make sure that our community gets the infrastructure and the development that it needs. We've accepted a lot of, I would call them almost Quake refugees. They've moved out to the west. The population in the southwest has absolutely exploded post-quakes, and we need to try and catch up on the infrastructure that we need to help bring Hornby to the place it needs to be. At the moment, we've got traffic congestion all over the place, which needs to be solved. Yes, we've got the southern motorway going through, but I don't believe that's going to make a huge difference to the traffic through Hornby, and that's where the major problems are. And interestingly, it was actually the traffic congestion around Denton Park that stopped that proposal. The council had that as their primary reason for not doing it.
Now, that southern arterial route has been open for a while now. I mean, it makes a huge difference if you're travelling from the centre of town out to Hallswell or further south there. But are you saying that hasn't taken traffic pressure off Hornby?
Well, the major problem we've got in Hornby is not so much the traffic moving to the city and so forth. It's more the traffic moving through and around the heart. The hub of Hornby is the congestion point. And we've got to try and find a way to solve that. And State Highway 1 still goes through the heart of Hornby, does a right angle turn at Carmen Road, Main South Road, and that's not going to be taken away with this new southern motorway. In fact, that's going to continue. And there's also the likes of Amy's Road, where that links out towards Alatia and onwards to Horswell. And that is a major congestion point. There's often, even during the weekends or through the rush time, morning and start of the day, you get all sorts of problems there where people just can't get where they need to get, and you'll find queues that are banked up and having to go through half a dozen sets of lights to be able to get anywhere, which is just not acceptable for our community. We've got to get that solved. We've got to do it sooner rather than later.
Who's the current councillor for Hornby?
The current councillor of Hornby is Jimmy Chen.
Jimmy Chen, that's interesting. Now, well, it has to be said, I mean, he's worked really hard. I mean, I know he has because I've not interviewed him, but he's always in the news because he's very busy.
He is very busy. He's very busy with a lot of multicultural representation across the city.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we've seen since the Denton Park campaign and the resident association that we formed has come on stream, he has improved to a large degree. But the question being, was that too little too late? I do take my hat off to him the last year or so. He has come up and responded well. We've raised another number of issues with him, and he is getting things done around the suburb. But there's still a lot we need to do, and we need to just get on and really get that strong representation to the council that we need.
It's a shame, actually. Obviously, I've only just talked to you and met you through the programme, but it seems a shame that both of you can't work on the council for the area at the same time, but there can only be one councillor.
Yeah, it's interesting the way that the representation system is set up, and having just the one councillor for each ward is less than ideal. We could look at that and say, well, maybe that needs to be reviewed.
Okay, well, you've got your hand up for community board and for the council, and it just remains for me now, Mark, to thank you for coming on the programme and to wish you the very best of luck with your campaign.
Excellent. Thank you very much for having me on, and keep up your good work.